Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, 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 Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om to everybody. Pranam, pranam, pranam. Hari Om.
Pranam, Swamiji.
Pranam, pranam. Yesterday we did cover a very important topic. What was that?
Divine impersonal. Me and Ram.
Guru and shishya.
Must be impersonal. Constant the subject, me and mine.
Okay, we would have covered the topic in that, but in the main one, what did we start with?
Guru and shishya.
The shishya must see the inner reality of the guru. Guru must see the inner reality of the shishya. The importance of inner guru.
Almighty Lord of the universe, who is within us, who has not made his presence known to us, deputes, as it were, somebody to come and tell us this message, whom we call as our Guru, outer Guru. Outer Guru sees God in us, we are supposed to see God in him. Kindly think about it, very important word. July 2021 vision, it is there on the table, side table.
He is within.
We should know that the Almighty Lord of the universe, who is within us, which fact we have not been aware of. We have been thinking that he is outside. We thought, he was an entity. He deputed somebody to either to come to us or made us to go to him. And then he conveyed to us this message that God is within. Turn your mind within and you will find him. We started naming him as Guru. Unfortunately, we got halted with the Guru. So Guru is separate outside, I am separate outside. I found some joy in it, not that it was also a joyful thing to see God in the Guru outside, but it will not help us to go inward. So Yathishwarananda Maharaj of Ramakrishna Mission, as Papa also many times he has said, rely on inner Guru, rely on inner Guru, not on the outer, because if you Satsang or association with a saint is indeed valuable, but it must be of the right kind. Internal contact must be established. Otherwise, there is a danger of this aspirant's mind getting externalized and remaining attached to the physical person of the saint, meaning missing the impersonal truth which the saint represents, embodies. Without reaching the depth of the inner reality represented by the saint, one cannot reap the full benefits of satsang. This he makes it very clear. Normally we go to, we are excited to see the Guru, we rush up there, we prostrate, we revere him. He is a personification of all that we feel noble. But we hardly hear what he says. Our whole concentration was on his form. The form was charming, no doubt. Attractive. That means the love in him has touched the love in us, so it is charming. We got halted there. That's what Papa here says. Without reaching the depth of the inner reality represented by the saint, one cannot reap the full benefits of satsang. Some benefit will be there. One must take care not to fall into the error of thinking that a saint's grace can be won by adoring merely his body and serving him without looking upon all beings as his expression and serving them with an equal vision. This is no more dangerous to an aspirant than a narrow personal attitude. His progress depends on the extent to which he is able to expand his art and universalize his outlook. And Papa says, Ramdas never joined any organization for his spiritual growth. Guru within him mysteriously guided him and made everything easy for God realization. Then he found that the best rules to be followed were those which this inner Guru set for him from time to time. It is clear that our guide in such matters must be the Guru within us and not without. And yesterday we were reading this, he said, the real Guru who reveals us the truth is in our own heart, and he is none other than the divine himself. His message very often comes through God's message. God's message very often comes through some person who also is called Guru. So the divine is sometimes called the Guru of Gurus, Paramaguru. No? We should not expect much from the outer Guru, but should try to be in tune with the inner Guru, the divine within us, the soul of our souls, and draw knowledge and inspiration from him. Both the teacher and the pupil should try to be as much impersonal as possible. We were remembering, Papa, Swamiji struggled, to get over the Saguna aspect. Because Papa was also a figure, a charming figure, an attractive figure, an impressive figure, where the mind will be only focusing on him, especially when he was serving for 14 years at a stretch. So, Papa, Swamiji went and asked this problem. I should not get attached to your form. What should I do? It started like this. People started also prostrating or greeting Swamiji. So Swamiji was feeling highly embarrassed. So he told them all Papa only. So then we went and told Papa that some people are doing it. Then immediately Papa said, pass it on to Ramdas. That means he doesn't own anything. So then the question comes, how am I to go beyond the form, the name? Then he said, no, it should not get attached to the outer form. The inner Ramdas, inner Papa. What is that? So one has to go within. That which is making me to exist is the same that is making him to exist. That is common. Immediately we realize. So then Swamiji said, this is what I used to do every day. When I go there in the morning and I see him, I prostrate before him. I am prostrating before the nameless, formless, indwelling, all-pervading reality, whose presence has been made known to me through this form. When we heard that, it was very clear. Swamiji always uses, simple words, but profound meaning. And spontaneously it came. I am prostrating before the nameless, formless reality, whose presence has been made known to me through this form. So we revere this form, we get connected to the reality within. That's why he said, both should be impersonal. Papa also seeing Sachidananda Swamiji as not a Sachidananda Swami. The impersonal aspect in Sachidananda Swami. So, both the teacher and the pupil should try to be as much impersonal as possible. This becomes possible if the teacher tries to see the divine in the student, and the student also tries to feel the divine in the teacher. One should try to think of the other, not as a person, but as the manifestation of the principle, P capital, and oneself also such. This is the beginning of practical Vedanta. The Lord comes to me in the form of devotees, and I should try to see Him in them more than their personalities. This is how the Guru looks at. The student also should recognize the divine principle in the one who brings the message, and also in oneself to who receives it. So when we go to the Guru, two things should happen in me. These are all things which we have not known at all. One is that the indwelling reality is passing on the message through this Guru, and he is seated within me. So not only outside, but also inside. And now when here, he is there.
Swamiji, this problem comes when Guru is in the form. When he is not in form, he is not in the form means there is no confusion. Is Swamiji?
The Guru, the Guru, when we close our eyes, the Guru is before us, Not necessarily that the body should be there. When you talk about Swami Vivekananda or any great leaders, any great Mahatmas, Tapovan Jiva, we would not have seen. But the moment we close our eyes, they are before us. So now we understand that they are the messengers, Having realized the presence of God within, they are passing on the message to us to similarly become aware of the presence of God within. We got stuck with the outer form.
Swami, I remember that Vinobaji also told the same thing. Mahatma Gandhi passed away, he told the same thing.
Same thing. So we get more clarity now through Yathishwaranandaji's message. This has been beautifully brought out by him. The Lord comes to me in the form of devotees, and I should try to see Him in them more than their personalities. And the disciple also should recognize the divine principle in the one who brings the message, not as a person, and also in oneself who receives it. This is a beautiful way of explaining it, no? Explaining it. So we go, this is what Papa has been hammering into our mind, but we never heard. We never understood that. Because Mataji was using the word Papa for the Almighty Ram, for the Almighty mysterious power. So there was a confusion in our mind. Naturally, it led to halting at the form. So that is, now Papa is making it very, very clear. And he say, and when we were talking about Papa and Ram, Mataji felt, Papa was using Ram for the all-pervading. Yesterday we said that, we are repeating it. But Mataji said, whenever I thought of God as Ram, I felt God was away from me. But when I thought of God as Papa, I felt his nearness. So I went and told Papa accordingly. Then Papa said to me, if you can't think of him as Ram, dwell on him as Papa. He is all-pervading. He is the indwelling reality, not that personality. That is why you see the other day when we read, Mataji said, when you take up 11 times of reading of In Quest of God, it will lead you to the Nirguna Tattva. Because nowhere we will find in Quest of God any mention about the Saguna Radhana. Of course, it is there. But Papa did not. There also we saw, in him there was no difference. In Jagannatha Puri also, and in other time also, to him everybody was Ram, who is come in the form of Sadhu Ram, in the form of all creation. So to Papa there was no problem. So when this underlying, this principle is the quintessence, quintessence of the messages of In Quest of God. If this is clear, and if we keep on thinking about it, keep on dwelling about it, slowly we will find he is within, he is within, he is within. That is what we want, at the end of this reading. At the end of this in-depth study, what we really want to get stabilized is the truth. That outwardly we are playing so many, so many roles. But it is he who is making me to do that. I don't have to change the role. Role has been given to me by him. And I will act perfectly according to that. All the time. Nama leads, teacher. Nama leads. So we have to keep on dwelling on it. That is why we have been prompted to repeatedly remind ourselves. Here Papa says this word, simple word. Spirituality that cannot be applied in actual life is no spirituality. God is in the world and is acting through every one of us. God realization does not mean disappearing into some unknown realm beyond the world. True spirituality consists in our living in the world, moving in it, serving all beings, all the time being conscious of the divine within us and everywhere around us. Papa has clearly given. We have not understood, we have not applied our mind. God is in the world and is acting through every one of us. His mission we are performing. Every one of us, not merely the one who is in the ashram. But when we have forgotten the role, forgotten the message that we are acting as directed by him, with the limited freedom he has given, we chose something of lower type, not of the higher type. That is why we got halted there. We were not able to raise ourselves from the personal level to a higher level. This is very important. God is in the world and is acting through every one of us. God realization does not mean disappearing into some unknown realm beyond the world. True spirituality consists in our living in this world, moving in it. Not that we are disappearing into some other world. We don't have to throw away what we have been doing. All that we have to do is to know that He has given us the role. He has given us to become a family being. Huh? He has given us the family. He has given us a role to be a family being. He has given us a role to be a professional being. He has given us a role to be a social being. So every role is sacred, important, valid. We don't have to belittle or look down upon it. This particular statement, true spirituality consists in our living in this world, moving in it, and serving all beings. All the time being conscious of the divine within us, everywhere around us. This is the cream. When Bhagavad Gita, while introducing Vedavyasa, said, Sarvopanivishato Gavo. All are now Tokta, Gopal, and Andanaha. It is the milk taken out, no? Essence of which has been taken out. All the Upanishads and put it in the form of Bhagavad Gita. Similarly, in quest of God is something like that. We have to somehow milk it and then make it our own. He is everywhere. We have been telling this, we have been reading this. We never felt it. So 35, 36 chapters deal with purely this, Ram and Ramdas. So when the confusion came to most of us, that Papa and Ram, because Mataji never uses the word Ram. She was using the word Papa for Ram. Beloved Papa wanted all of us to connect with his impersonal aspect. Have Ramdas in your thoughts as the impersonal, immutable, deathless cosmic spirit and give up attachment to external forms. Directly you do this, you will attain liberation and immortal joy and peace within yourself. Don't substitute a golden chain for an iron one. Both are cause of bondages. Suppose we attach ourselves to the Guru, it's also a bondage. Just like we are attached to the family people or to somebody, it is a bondage. It is also a bondage if we don't have the right relationship with the Guru who was sent by him. Meaning, who after realizing that God is within, he conveys the same message to us. So this was elaborately discussed yesterday. The spiritual seeker should always remember that the idolizing of a human form and the blind worshipping of a human personality are a stumbling block in spiritual progress and is harmful to both the disciple and the Guru. A true teacher is a free soul and would very much like to see that all his disciples stand on their own feet, realize their divine nature, solve their individual problems, developing a cosmic outlook. So the form came, conveyed the message, realized the presence within and without, conveyed the message to us. And then the form quit the scene. Now we feel, it may be our own interpretation. Because Papa was asked by somebody why there is no idol here. He said all are moving idols. All are Ram only, all are in the forms of Ram only. So there is no need for a particular idol. But later on we now started thinking, When Mataji, when Papa's Samadhi Mandir was built, Mataji made it clear that it is a place exclusively for inward journey, where we try to connect up with the all-pervading reality. That's why she said there will not be any murti there, any image there, and no forms of worship will be there. But somehow, looking at our weakness, God willed that when Mataji dropped the body, there was a need to put an image there. So when we put an image in one, we cannot avoid putting up in the other one. So when the image was there, image has been put in both. And when Ramnam was shifted from one to another, naturally the morning opening and the closing, it will have a smallest form of ritual called placing the flower or garland and doing arati. But we now start thinking, the samadhi aspect we have not thought about it. Samadhi is a place where the personal aspect is removed and the impersonal aspect is felt. We used to come, when there was no photo in Papa's Samadhi Mandir. We never felt anything, odd, yeah. Remember? We all go there. There will be only one chudi, one flower at the Padaga, that's all. No sound, absolutely it will be silent. If at all we go there and spend an hour or two, some reading or mental chanting, or doing pradakshina and chanting, whatever we are comfortable with. Mataji used to take us in 60s, initiate us into this process. Because before that there was no place for this inward journey. But now we feel, whether it is the mind's interpretation or his interpretation, that we are now offering these worship to the Samadhi Mandir. And even here, Mataji was very particular to bring the ashes to this shrine, and that was deposited there. She also called it as Samadhi. So every day we are worshipping that Samadhi. A newcomer may not know whose, so a photo was kept. And Samadhi is a place where the personal aspect is removed and the impersonal aspect is very much felt. So when we go and bow down before or touch the feet or make our head to touch the feet, we are praying, make me aware of the presence of that indwelling reality in us also. You had realized, you informed us, we did not know it. We did not take pains to understand. But now slowly, you are making us to know that it is there always. Whether this body goes or that body goes, it remains full. Often we remember our taking water from the well, The moment we take a bucket full of water, actually we should see the dent there, something should be there, because the whole quantity minus that bucket full of water. But the moment the bucket is raised from the water level, the leveling is done. Either through its own incoming water from the source, even if it does not come, balancing does it by itself. So whether the body goes or not, balancing is immediately done. Whether with the body, without the body, he is always there. This great principle is being made known to us by our revering the Samadhi. Of late, we have been very seriously thinking about it. So when we look at the photo, when we bow down, we say that, yeah, you came in the form, drew us to yourself, made known to us that you are, the principle is within you. The body is perishable, but the imperishable reality you are able to realize within the body and without the body, outside also. So now that you have dropped the body, still it is still there. It is still there. The impersonality does not get, the impersonal nature of God does not get reduced. Just like when we take a bucket full of water from the well, we don't see any dent. It gets immediately level, the level gets done by itself. Similarly, you are all pervading. You are full. At no time you get whether, just like this space, in which this hall is built. Just because the hall is built, the space does not get reduced. When we, God forbid, when we demolish it tomorrow, the space does not get increased. It is always full. Similarly, this form, this hall, it is like this. Yes, now we remember. Shankaracharya mentioned it as Bhoga Ayatanam. So this is also a structure. And when the structure is not there, God does not get reduced. When the structure comes, God does not get increased. So when we bow our head at the Samadhi Mandir, because there is no other place here where we congregate and do not 1% ritual called Arati or flower offering. That is the minimum ritual. No, Mataji did not want us to get into any ritual, but still minimum ritual to link us with this principle. And at the noon time we do the pradakshina. That's all. The sloga which we repeat, Dhanya Dhanya Ho Pradakshinahum Sadguru Raya. So that is, through that also we are trying to get ourselves connected with the impersonal aspect. Throughout the Arati, because it is in Marathi, many may not know. It is all getting connected to the impersonal aspect. The last one, wherever I see him only, Tyajya stali hai manajaya maje, tyatya stali hai nijarupa tuje. So like that, even the pradakshina also, and at the end also, we are trying to follow what Papa said, have Ramdas in your thought as the impersonal, immutable, deathless cosmic spirit, and give up attachment to external forms. Directly you do this, you will attain liberation and immortal joy and peace within yourself. Do not substitute a golden chain for an iron one. Worldly attachments are called the iron one. Attachment to the Guru or form is called the golden chain. Both are bondage. Bondage in the sense, we will see him only there. Limiting. We will not be able to see him as the all-pervading reality. Beautiful. Papa's explanations are in simple letters, but very, 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 very profound.
Swamiji. Immutable. What is the meaning? Immutable. Immutable.
Unchangeable.
Mutation changes வந்துட்டு mutation changes வந்துட்டு
not change, not having change.
Unchanging. Not subjected to any form of change. Water, ice, steam, the same content in different form. But here, this subtle and mysterious power is immutable. It does not undergo any change, whether it is in this form or that form. Immutable. So these are some of the words which we can easily understand. So we are trying to go back and get to understand Ram again, no? God again, the indwelling spirit. We should have some clarity about it. So in quest of God means we are trying to become aware of His presence within. In other words, it is called realization. In other words, it is called enlightenment. In other words, it is called nirvana. Whatever it is, to become aware of His presence within. And that is what In Quest of God stands for, the text stands for. So all of us are, somebody was asking the other day, are we in quest of God? Yes, yes, yes. We are in quest of God, knowingly or unknowingly. The only thing is probably the methodology may not be clear to us, or the attitude with which we are trying is not coupled with the real aspect, the real concept.
Pranam Swamiji.
Pranam. You must have a sadhana, he says, you must have a sadhana which is independent, not dependent upon external condition or form or environment. Wherever you are, you must be able to tune yourself with God within. It is in that form. So you must have a sadhana which is independent, not dependent upon external condition, form or environment. That is called the independent. Wherever you are, you must be able to tune yourself with God within. There are many who are doing sadhana. They do not know why they are doing. Their conception of God is very limited and narrow. They must have, in the first place, a right concept of God before they try to attain Him. Otherwise, we have no idea, no? That is why Papa wants us to do a lot of this, In his case, he went through all the text and he took an inward journey with the help of Yoga Vasishta, with the help of so many granthas. And in 2 years' time, he was able to realize the presence of God within. So he says the right concept, right concept. If you worship God outside in any form, your mind is externalized. And from that form, it goes to other forms or objects, and your mind remains as distracted, as restless as ever. If you worship God outside in any form, your mind is externalized. And from that form, it goes to other forms or objects, and your mind remains as distracted and as restless as ever. You may not be knowing, we are reading from the boards that are there in the Centenary Hall, because some gems have been picked and it has been put there so that at one time we might get an inner alignment with it. Any board, any one board is enough. So when I am the disciple can look within and get guidance only if they stop looking upon somebody outside for guidance. The disciple can look within and get guidance only if they stop looking upon somebody outside for guidance. What is needed is that you should turn your mind within. And the best thing for that is to remain where you are and practice the discipline prompted from within, and finally get divine illumination. All these things, it's all there. But we did not take pains to go and see. No? All these words are Papa's only. Anyway, why should we blame ourselves? He has not prompted us. So from today onwards, let us think. From today onwards, we will start applying whatever we have heard. Now slowly he is now pushing us to a stage that you don't need anything. You don't need to know anything except the fact that he is within. He is making you to know him. Because he gave you a role, you forgot the role, you went outside. But now he is making you to know that he has given you the role. So that you become aware of his presence always. Anything else?
Pranam Swamiji. Telugu Swamiji. Pranam Mataji.
Pranam.
Telugu Swamiji.
Telugu. Oh, Telugu. Chandrananda will translate.
Pranam Kumar. In Kanhangad 11 days, 11 times start చేశానమ్మా. మార్నింగ్ అట్లకి 8 days అయిపోయింది. నైట్ స్టార్ట్ 2 అవుతుందమ్మా. ఖచ్చితంగా 5 hours 6 hours పడుతుంది. ఈ రోజు 9వ రోజమ్మా. పప్పా గ్రేస్ అండ్ 3 days కూడా స్వామికి ఈ ఆశీర్వాదంతో కంప్లీట్ చేయాలని కోరుకుంటున్నానమ్మా. 3 days అయితే కంప్లీట్ అవుతుందమ్మా. ఇవాళ నైట్ మార్నింగ్ ఆఫీస్ నైట్ స్టార్ట్ చేస్తున్నామ్మా. నైట్ స్టార్ట్ చేస్తే నైట్ 2 or 2:30 అవుతుంది. 6 hours పడుతుందమ్మా.
Swamiji, she started 11 days for Papa's book reading. So night time she starts at 9 o'clock. Around 2:30 she will be able to complete. 8 days are over. Today is 9th day. For blessings she is also.
Very encouraging, Swamiji. Very much encouraging.
Very much encouraging.
Very much encouraging.
Every day she is.
Everybody should know that now Papa prompted him or her to hear the first words of Mataji, and then not hearing, then making a trial. But we should be very clear. Only one part of it we are doing as per Mataji's. The other part is also important. What is the other part? I will read it again. You can convey it in Telugu. I wanted you all to read it 11 times so that your mind would turn within to Nirguna Brahman. చెప్పండి.
మాతాజీ గారు ఎందుకు చదవమని చెప్పారంటే అండి, లోపల ఉన్నటువంటి నిర్గుణ తత్వాన్ని తెలుసుకోవడం కోసం ఆ పుస్తకాన్ని 11 రోజులు 11 సార్లు చదవమన్నారండి.
There is a special reason for Papa making me ask you to read 11 times. It is intended to take you within.
అర్థమైందండి? ఇన్వర్డ్.
అర్థమైందా?
అంతర్యాత్ర కోసం.
You may not attain Papa within you on the 11th reading. Papa means Ram. Okay? But you will at least have started going within.
మీరు 11 సార్లు చదవగానే అవ్వకపోవచ్చు, కాకపోతే లోపలికి వెళ్ళడం అంతర్ముఖం అవ్వడానికి అది హెల్ప్ చేస్తుందని చెప్పి.
It is like entering the ashram gates. Once you are within the gates, you have nothing to fear. Likewise, once you turn your gaze within, you have nothing to worry.
ఒకసారి మీరు అంతర్ముఖం అయితే భయపడేది ఏం లేదని చెప్తున్నారు.
So this is very important. Reading is not important. Reading is only an external act. It should not be now for the sake of everybody. For the sake of enthusing everybody, probably God made you to reveal that you start at 9 o'clock and close it at 2:30. It is all right. But as far as possible, let everything be done silently. Because the moment I start reading for others, then the purpose will not be served. I will not be entering into the chambers within.
స్వామిజీ ఏం చెప్తున్నారంటే అండి, ఇప్పుడు పప్పా గారు అంటే అందరికీ కొంచెం ఎంకరేజ్మెంట్ కోసం మేము లోపల నుంచి ఆయన అంటే మీకు అలా ఇచ్చుంటారు, చెప్పారు, కానీ అలా చెప్పడం కరెక్ట్ కాదు. అంటే మీరు చదువుతున్నారు కానీ మీకే ఉంచుకోవాలి, అలా చెప్పడం అవసరం లేదు. అది అప్పుడు మీరు లోపలికి వెళ్ళడానికి అవ్వదు, అది అలా చెప్తూ ఉంటే. దాని పర్పస్ అంటే మనం దేనికోసం అయితే చదువుతున్నామో ఆ ఉద్దేశం జరగాలి. చెప్పడానికి అవసరం లేదు, ఎవరు కావాలని చెయ్యాలి. అదే స్వామీజీ చెప్తున్నారు, మనం లోపలికి వెళ్తున్నారు, మనల్ని మనం చూసుకోవాలి. అది
బికాజ్ ద పర్పస్ ఈస్ టు గో విదిన్.
లోపలికి వెళ్ళాలి, అంతర్ముఖం అవడం కోసం అది చదవడం.
She clearly says, it is intended to take you within. It is intended to take you within. You may not attain Papa within you on the 11th reading, but you will at least have started going within. It is like entering the ashram gates. Once you are within the gates, you have nothing to fear. Likewise, once you turn your gaze within, you have nothing to worry. అర్థమైందా?
అంటే మీరు అది ఎందుకు చదువుతున్నారు అనేది అర్థం కావాలి. లోపలికి వెళ్ళడానికి అంతర్ముఖం, మనస్సుని అంతర్ముఖం చేయడం కోసం చదువుతున్నాము. అది ఎలాగంటే మీరు ఆశ్రమం లోపలికి గేట్ లోపలికి వచ్చిన తర్వాత ఇంకా భయం ఉండదు కదా, ఆశ్రమంలో ఉన్నారనే ధైర్యం ఉంటుంది కదా. అలాగే మన లోపల మనం వెళితే కనుక అంతర్ముఖం అయినట్లయితే కనుక ఆ ధైర్యం అలా ఉంటుంది. సో దానికోసం అది పుస్తకం చదువుతున్నాం అని చెప్తున్నారు 11 సార్లు.
Because when somebody started doing this reading, in between Mataji used to ask, how is it going? Mataji wanted to know whether the reading gets stopped at reading level. No? Then when the person says, I am trying to understand something which I cannot explain within, then Mataji will be very happy. That means an effort is now being made to go within. So we take it that as devotees or sadhakas, let our reading and let it be for ourselves. Because our purpose is not to read. Our purpose is to go within through reading. So far we did not know. Now Mataji made it very, very, very clear to all of us. So reading is only an instrumental cause. What is needed is to go within.
Swamiji, dialogue is also going within. It's not the dialogue with him also going within.
Amam, 100%. 100%. But when you take up Inquest of God, there is a flow in it for 37 chapters. Dialogue is there. Dialogue, if we can regularly practice, nothing like that. But people who are preoccupied with so many things, there will be interruptions, But here we know that we have to finish 11 times. So there is a thread from one day's program to another day's program. And the whole purpose is to go within.
Swamiji, previously when Mataji was there, we used to go there and ask for blessings. So she used to tell us, Papa, Avasrikina Pranjita Ramana Pranjodi exam, Papa Sadhya இருந்தாங்க. So at that time we did not know how to what Papa was inside. Now through you she makes it understand that she is already. Now we understand.
Bygones are bygones, We are trying to read their own words, their own guidance,
Through you she is making it understand.
So let us not worry about it. She has made it very, very, very clear. Papa has made it very, 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 very clear. All that we have to do is to somehow imbibe, understand, and carry on our sadhana silently, and somehow realize the presence of him within.
Swamiji, excuse me, please briefly explain going within, Swamiji.
Going without we know. Whenever we see anything, it is without. You remove all those things, that is within. remove the mind going out, the thought going on objects, situations and persons. Even Guru, outer Guru. So we try to block them. When great Mahatmas come, there will be assistants, people who are taking care of physical. So they will ensure that beyond certain level, devotees will be coming. He will put a stop. Only the Guru will go inside. He wants rest. Otherwise, we all will go and sit. How will he take rest? Correct. So like that, now we have to take the mind and then he says, stop going out. Go within. Our sadhana should now result in this. We may fail, we may forget, but let us be very clear about what is to be done. Inward journey, inward journey, inward journey. And you will find even in Quest of God, Papa has put it as a title. Meditation is the only way. You remember? It is nothing but inward journey. If you go through that few lines, you will find that the same idea is being, but none of us applied our mind, meditation the only way. O Ram, well, as I have told you, the saint says, well, brother, as I have told you several times, there is only one remedy, and that is give up the miserable life of the world, going up to a solitary place, meditate upon God, who alone can give you the happiness you are after. This is the only way and no other. O Ram, thou hast brought thy slave in touch with these saints in order to confirm his faith in thee. The first saint teaches the state of one who reached thee. The second teaches how to reach thee. So he has mentioned we did not apply our mind. So now we know that only through inward journey, and Mataji clearly says, 11 times of reading should connect us to the Nirguna Tattva. Number one, Nirguna Tattva can be experienced only by going inward. So all our sadhana should ultimately get centered in this. So that means what? That means all our outer activities should be incompatible with this inner aspiration. Chanting is done for this inner aspiration. Chanting is done to remember him. During the non-chanting time, whatever we do, there our outer activity should be compatible with inner aspiration. The inner beauty should reveal itself in outer actions, he says, So with clear cut, there is no complication it is not a complex expression. It's a simple expression. So he wants all of us to go within and find out. So in quest of God is not outside. In quest of God is really a journey within. In quest of God, when we say in-depth study, it is a journey not to gather some facts and memorize it, but to feel his presence within first and then without first. Within first and then without. Without means outside. So first we have to somehow feel his presence. All our activities we will slowly, all our sadhana, ashram programs, those who are not in ashram, when they, every day morning when they go to their shrine, it should remind all these. Enable me, I am leading a family life, I am leading a professional life, I am leading a social life. Enable me to see you in the family, see you in my field, my boss, my colleagues, my customer, my anything outside, and in my friends. So like that, every moment, every day morning when we go there, we pray this and then start. And handle everything with love. Touch of love, touch of perfection, touch of gratitude, touch of dedication. Again and again, this is coming back to us. However, we will take one, at least for reading. Ponder simultaneously, knowing your and the world's origin. We have covered that. All the slogas in Bhagavad Gita we were quoting, you remember? Then the next point was understanding Jnanottara Bhakti or Parabhakti. While beloved Papa was seeing the divine self as pervading every particle of the universe, he experienced simultaneously the same infinite as a personal God, his beloved Ram, speaking to him and guiding him in an utterly personal way. This is the unique characteristics of Papa. Impersonal person. Impersonal in nature, but personal in expression. Think. Pure knowledge will undoubtedly burn to ashes all the impurities in the mind, and along with it, it will burn down the mind itself. But when associated with the weak flesh, it proves to be inadequate. It cannot wash away subtle impurities. One has to take recourse to bhakti for this purpose. So there is a Jnanottara Bhakti, We said, we take to inward journey, arresting all thoughts with the help of Ramnam, and finally the Ramnam also stops. We get a glimpse of our core, glimpse of the core of our being. Again, mind comes back, again we try. Okay, this is going on. By this process, the thought process comes to a still. So grosser impurities along with the thought, that will go. But subtle impurities like vasanas, it is still there, that when we come down to the body level, till the body is dropped, the sadhaka will come down to the body level also. At that time, this path of knowledge will not help. Only path of bhakti, devotion will help. Oh, God is there. I should not do, He is seeing. I should not think, I should not hear, I should not touch. Like that, I am warned. He is there as a what do you call him? Sentinel. That is the apt word. Sentinel. Sentinel will be there, He will be watching whether somebody is inside, going inside. With his gun, he will be walking, closely watching. Anybody is entering into the compound without permission. Similarly, we have to post this. We should know that he is the sentinel there, watching every moment of how the mind thinks and does and talks. So that is why this bhakti aspect. Unless the sense of individual...
In one of these incidences, when Papa meets Mahadev Prasad, he asked him to sit on a gadi. He says, I am a slave of Ram. I will not sit. So it made me think that it is all the time conscious, that you said sentinel. He is all the time aware that he is always around me. Then only he will be aware of his presence.
Correct.
So that's the
Yeah. That is why he says test. The test is given to us, by whom? By him. So there is an impersonal person. That is called bhakti. We as as an entity we don't exist, but in the form of a thought I exist, and the thought now becomes aware, subservient to the power. So there are two now. That is why Jnanottara Bhakti. Jnana should be there, but at the same time Bhakti only finishes this journey. No doubt the path of Jnana enables one to know his or her origin, but the sweetness of that experience need not necessarily be there if it is not combined with Bhakti. Only when the duality is there, enjoyment of sweetness can be had. So scaling the heights through Jnana should simultaneously result in developing the loving devotion and non-dual realization, profoundly juxtaposed in the living experience of beloved Papa. So this is very important for all of us. Jnanottara Bhakti, Parabhakti. Hari Om.
The same point is elaborated in Adi Shankara's first slokam of Bhajagovindam.
Correct. Bhajagovindam, Bhajagovindam, Govindam Bhajamudamade, Samprapte Sannihite Kale Nahi Nahi Rakshati Dukrjakarne. All this outer knowledge will not help. Nahi Nahi Rakshati. All this outer knowledge will not help. Yeah, correct. We were all thinking, we were all knowing. But the entire thing is...
Why it is remain a positive comparative and not be superlative? Bhaktottama Bhakti.
Bhaktottama. Anything. Okay, forget about the word. Whatever word we use, what we have been told, whatever we feel, perfectly all right. Bhaktottama Bhakti is all right. Paramottama Bhakti is all right. Anything is all right. What is more important is we develop a relationship with him. At the same time, we know that we are a part of him.
Yes, Swami.
And then continuing, Sattva-guna, Vinobaji says, Sattva-guna entitles the devotee to the grace of the Lord or a saint, and through this grace, he is lifted beyond all gunas and comes to say face to face with the immortal, all blissful Atman, whom he realizes as his real being and existence. This is called jnana or moksha. The knowledge of the Atman liberates the bound soul from the vicious cycle of births and deaths, grants him unchanging and eternal bliss and peace. It is then the higher bhakti, which is termed parabhakti, dawns on him. This is the summit of God realization. With jnana as the background, the devotee beholds the entire manifested universe as the supreme image of his beloved Lord. All creatures, beings and things in the universe are looked upon by him as the very forms of his Lord. He feels and sees the Lord's presence everywhere. His sense of duality has completely vanished. Oneness of life, oneness of all existence becomes now the keynote of his vision. The Nirguna Tattva enabled him to see his nameless, formless, all-pervading Ram everywhere. But at the same time, the world manifestation represents the Saguna Tattva. After attaining jnana, the Bhakta looks upon the whole universe as God himself. This is to rise from the individual level to the cosmic level. A very important point. Tomorrow, yes, one thing we would like to request all of you. Instead of this daily satsang, we will have 2 times in a week. Because a lot of assimilation is important.
Swamiji,
Ah.
we can compare jnana to intelligent and bhakti to love. Is it so, Swamiji? Jnana to intelligent and bhakti to love. Bhakti to love.
Love. ठीक है. Now we are trying to request, make this program on any convenient day, twice in a day. Not that every day we will have this. Twice in a not in a day. Twice in a week. So that
Yes, Swami.
every day this.
Please keep it alternate days, Swami. No, Swamiji, it's alternate days, thrice a week. So you give 1 day in between for us to do manana.
Okay.
So our out of sight is out of mind.
To begin with, alternate days. Let us see for a
Thursday.
1 month, and then see gradually taper it, and ultimately inward journey should take place, huh?
Yes, yes.
Otherwise, unknowingly, tendency to do this becomes the routine. At that period, we concentrate. Rest of the period, we are back to square one. Each one is preoccupied with so many things, So now, alternate means at least some more time. Oh, this time you used to share all these thoughts. Oh, we must do that. Let us see how the mind works. And if we can train the mind properly and make use of the alternate days, then we can once in 2 days, Then once in once in
weekly once.
Weekly once, weekly twice, weekly thrice, like that,
No thrice. They are requesting for thrice.
If it is needed, we will again go back. But we should experiment. So now alternate. Then later on we will say after 2 days. Then after 3 days.
Weekly once long gap.
Cherry, Paco. No, otherwise, again this also becomes a bondage. We are limiting. And though thanks to the technology, personally, we don't feel comfortable. All these departments. Ashram's legacy does not allow us to do anything. But we are flexible, no doubt. This is also God's will. But we should be reminded that, Yesterday, when I never used to open and see the, what do you call it? YouTube. So many of these things are there.
Yes.
I was taken aback.
Yes.
And then people start telling. So then, really, I was taken aback. We are trying to efface ourselves, whereas now, unknowingly, God is making us to project a form, and then people look at that form. All these things will prevent them from going within.
Sure.
So, as a first step, tomorrow we will not have, day after tomorrow we will have. Alternate days for the time being, and then slowly taper it. And then by the time we reach the end of this year, we should be able to settle ourselves within. Because we must have had some glimpse, as Mataji says, probably we would not have realized to the extent to which we are expected. But at the same time, somewhere near that we would have reached. That should be there in our mind. This program, this Google Meet, this Satsang, all these things are only ancillary, appendages. So, I request all of you to kindly have this in your mind, and because the mind is now trained to daily sit, as somebody suggested, we will first make it as alternative days. But this alternate days, it does not mean that we are cutting off from in-depth study of In Quest of God. Is that clear?
Yes, clear,
I don't mean intellectually clear.
No, Swamiji is just giving time for going within. That's the point. But Swamiji, at the end we will all become so silent that we won't talk at all.
That is what is needed, Ultimately, we should be able to go within.
True.
So when I think this has really prepared ourselves.
Ramana became silent and
just putting everything only on the plate.
Ramana became silent right from the first day.
Yes.
Ours is, we have been thinking that we have been doing sadhana for 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. And still God has not given us the feeling that we are moving nearer to Him. So this we will try. Intense urge to go within should be kept alive. And we would not like us to be in these YouTubes. Sound can be there, but not this.
Swamiji,
terrible.
Audio?
We will see later. Audio can be tried.
Audio we will upload. Audio we will try to upload.
We will first now we will switch over to this alternate days and see how it gets involved. Hearing is okay.
That's what audio.
Hearing is okay. Not.
Okay, no problem.
Audio we will.
So we will try some method, okay? Because it should not become contra, Everything is started with good intentions, but ultimately we should know where it ends. It gives the tendency for others also to do that, And somebody will say it is beautiful. So again the fellow will come and then start doing it. Ultimately, we concentrate upon that form instead of going within. Yesterday night when I casually looked, the whole thing, daily date also is put. So many things are there. It was a shocking experience for me. Because we use this and we keep quiet. Even the other thing we don't know, but we open for email and just near that it is there, So previously to see something we have opened. But this one we did not come to us at all. Then the prompting came, yes, we have to put a stop. Otherwise this also will become a part of it. And that will become the legacy of this ashram. No. Papa went out, he gave satsang. At that time, and everybody was coming to ashram, and all satsang took place here only. Now when we go out, because instead of 100 devotees coming here, if one person goes from there, that is how we take it whenever we go out. If one person goes and conveys Papa Mataji's message, that will be helpful for them because of the travel and stay and everything. So that is how whenever we go out, we share. That is okay. Because that is only for not a regular one. Otherwise, the legacy gets changed. So I'm very happy you have taken it in the positive way. So alternative, then we will switch over to the audio. What do you call it? Audio. Instead of video, it can be audio.
That is also Papa's grace.
Yeah, grace.
The decision is Papa's grace.
Everything is Papa's grace. He is testing us, Are you becoming aware?
Yes.
You have come here not to become something. You have come here to become nothing. Zero. But actually, it is not. So inwardly we may not be accepting it, but outwardly it is shared. It is there. So we will. Yes, this audio. It's okay. Audio can be accepted. Hari Om then. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram 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 Om.